born in a place called Ashtown. Do you have any Osekrum people here? Exactly, sir. Enkasa. Enkasa. Sir. Or this share nana. And I was born in a place called Ashtown. And the Ashtown is a place like Adabraka. It's yes. And then from Ashtown I moved to Fantino Town. And all these places that I grew up in the Efficasium type of setting where we have like 50 families in one big house built by some Tete Koko Krache that has one toilet and one bath for all the 150 people in that one house. Yes, you know, Efficasium type of thing. So in that house, there's the hustler that is trying to hustle his things, that his people come there to buy his stuff. We have the sister in the house who is trying to go to London by doing her thing with the burger people in the hood. We have the Krachi in the house who works maybe at Cocoa Board. That's the whole house where at the end of the month they will give the water bill and the light bill too. Then sometimes it take giving girl, then the people are chasing. We have the owner of the house who is like 70 something years old. That is wicked. Even when children are playing ball, this old man would send them to go and catch the ball, then he would cut it into two. I don't know if you know that efficacy thing. So growing up, I always felt that my father is an accountant. Why do I have to deal with this? Why do I have to live in a place like this? And then we moved from Ashtown. Then we went to Fantino Town, same house, same trouble, same setup, same style. Then I didn't understand. So can't you just save money and build a house so that we can go and live at Asokwa or live in the suburbs or something? So I grew up, I spent all my formative years in Ashtown, Fantino Town, Ija, and between say 0 and like 18, I lived from Ashtown to Fantino Town. Now what I didn't know was that because I lived there and I sold rubber bag when I was 5 years old, I would go to Asafo Market and go and sell rubber bag. I had my own shoe shine box. I made my own shoe shine box. I would go and buy polish, and then on vacation I would go through the neighborhood and shine shoe for coins. You know, so I didn't know that this thing that I thought was disturbing me, that was destroying my swag, was the thing that was going to give me the opportunity to meet a lot of people. So inside that house, I saw many things. And with all the experiences that I was getting, I didn't know I was building my library for one day when I become an artist, that no matter how disconnected I become or I get from the streets, I've had so much knowledge working in the streets from zero that no matter where I get to, whenever I must write a song to touch the hearts of hustlers, like how I used to be, I always know what to say. Thank you. So when you listen to my song also, I'm talking about Ubeko Germany, Afubejo Shingen, but I'm Fubia Bomodin, that's a national vibe. You know, we need bank statement, we try imitation, Ubefa Berlin, Hamburg, we are West, no way. Uko do German and Babroni busy, no way. Where you go, you know. So I'm talking about all the, so when you listen to my music, apart from the cultural and the poetic and the literature that you find behind, the words that I put in the songs are things that I have experienced myself. And so whenever I do a song like Wara, and I'm talking about the things that this woman has done to me, they are things that I have experienced. And I got the opportunity to experience those things because I was born in the ghetto. So before I even start by trying to teach you branding and using my experiences, I want you to appreciate today that wherever you find yourself, whether you are in a mansion or you are in a Fikesium or you are sleeping at the market, that is the exact opportunity God is giving you, so that one day when you grow up or when you develop, no matter what you do, whether you are an accountant or an artist or a doctor, You bring that knowledge to bear. I grew up, by the time I was about 10 years old, I lived in a place called Fantino Town. I told you that already. And in my house, we had, there was a nightclub there called Saturday Night Club that became Copacabana. So from Monday to Monday, from morning till night, every time they were playing music. So I got the opportunity to listen to music unwillingly every day. And during all that time, that 10 years that I lived in that house, I built my library of music from Shalama to jazz, to hip hop, reggae, ragamuffin style, high life, everything. Because every time this nightclub is playing music, and our apartment was immediately above the nightclub. So every night, we were listening to music and developing a library. I used to ask myself, tomorrow I have an exam, I'm unable to sleep. God, why don't you help me move from here? But God still kept us there because I needed that experience to be able to become Okyeame Kwame someday. So, appreciate your beginnings. Another thing that I will say about appreciating beginnings, and when I went to high school, I went to CAS. I was very quiet. In fact, have you seen one of those boys that come to school that the headmaster says, who was Kumuha? That was me, invisible. I was that guy that the girls, they didn't book me because when we know that girls, when they are in secondary school, they know which of the boys will become successful. The rich people children. Then all of them will go and be attached to that one. And for us coming from Ashton and Fantino Town, nobody looks at them. I mean, it gets to a point that they even want to call you and say, Koton Katiebra, Koto Yogurt Bra. But me, Yawumi Ashton, won't miss Mamsem Koto Yogurt Bra. If may are quiet, but me gangster or what you say. I was born immediately around that time when rap music was starting, because I lived in a nightclub. I got the opportunity to be hearing this from. So by the time Shabarangs had become popular, whenever he sneezed, we will catch the fever, because every day we are listening to ting-a-ling-a-ling, schoolgirls ring, and fiber, booyaka time, Shabarang, so I would go to school, even though I was invisible. I would go to school, and whenever I go to entertainment, they will call me Whiskey to come and rap. So I was in class with Lord Kenya, Swazi B. Swazi B was in another school, but he would come and rap with us. Tebo B, Sassy Pack. Remember Sassy Pack from what was his name? You don't remember Sassy Pack? He did this song where the guy man that sings very high. He sings in a very high. Adani best. Da 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 da. Exactly. So Swazi B, Sassy Pack, we used to do rap competitions together. And because I had lived in a nightclub for all my life, every time we go for the competition, I would come first. Then Lavinci named me the Whiskey because I was very small. It's like, I'm talking about 13, 14, rapping with older people, and I will come first. Why? Because I got the opportunity to live in a nightclub and had sleepless nights. So all these things that I'm telling you, I'm talking about how to build self. Now let me talk about my parents. My mother was a teacher. My father was an accountant, so straight scratchy man who had studied in Italy. Everything must be functional. But because my mother was a teacher, she had understanding in how, children's psychology and what children are supposed to do to be able to grow well. So whilst my father was doing hi, my mother will call you quietly and talk to you. And they will grow. So whilst it got to a point, when I started becoming popular, this is somewhere in 1991 or 1990, when I started becoming popular, my father's relatives and my mother's relatives will call my father from Accra and everywhere. Rapper. But my mother always understood. My mother will sit down with my father. So it got to a point where my father got me to tell him that if I am going to allow you to become a musician, then you have to promise me that no matter what, you will go to school. So I made that promise to my father, and then he left me alone. So I told him that one day I will go to school, and then he left me alone. So that is also the combination between my parents. Whilst I was growing up, I got the opportunity. My father would take us to the movies. He would take us. My father used to go to work in the evenings. He would drive his taxi. He would take when the taxi driver comes to park the car, he would take them, put me at the front, and then he would go and do some 2 hours for the next day, chop money before he comes to sleep. So I saw that hustle too in the evenings. So whenever I am writing my music, I tap into all these little things. And then apart from that, where do I get my lyrics for talking about love in the way that I get to speak about it, even though I have not experienced it? Because I lived in a house that had 150 people, that had young people. I saw how the women treated them, how some of the women will start with them from SS, and by the time these boys are hustling, trying to go to London to wear hustles, as a richer man will come for her, or how some of these boys will hustle, go to London and come back and come and dump this one because this one is looking more flashy, So I saw all those things growing up, So I want you to appreciate every single place that God puts you.